Hello, good people. Welcome to another episode of Let's Be Your podcast. We're coming up back again, off of the back of another four plus goal victory against Elche. And kudos to the guys. Actually, I think both Vishal and Jacob called it last time, if I'm not mistaken, a four goal victory. But I think we missed one or two things, which was I think Jacob had this youngsters coming on, which I was did, and Vishal had zero coming on, so he missed that by a bit. But I mean, yeah, it's good to be back there. Like, I think that this is the third game in a row where we scored at least four goals. So I mean, irrespective of who the oppositions are, like attackers are people who feed off of confidence. So getting in the goals is something very important. And especially with Benzema getting two goals, as also I feel like especially coming into the business end of the season. So I feel it's really great, honestly. But before we dive into the whole fixture thing and what is not, let's just gauge the temperature of the panel. Vishal, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, all good, man. Happy about the L7. I think it was a win where we wanted goals. Let's say we expected goals, and
Yeah.
rightly so, I guess. And it was a good show. Rodrigo was insane. I mean, on another level, I thought against LJ, so good. So that was great to see. And yeah, I'm feeling good before Osasuna. It's not an easy ground to go to, but yeah, I mean, I think this week's performance is pretty encouraging.
Okay, what about you, Doris? Other than the fact that you're angry at someone who scheduled the live for 30 minutes earlier than you said.
Oh, I had a much worse day than that. My cooler on my car exploded today in the middle of the
Oh,
road. So yeah, that was fun. Goodbye, my Volkswagen. It's gonna be a long time for me to fix it. But yeah, for Elche, of course, I feel great. It's a 4-0 win. We don't get to see those very often. And
yeah.
at least it happened against Elche, which are, last on our table. But yeah, 4-0 is a 4-0, and we had a 5-3 the match before that, which is really good. It's nice that we're scoring a lot, but yeah, we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna talk about our defense. I hope we can keep a few clean sheets, even though it's probably not r- very realistic.
Well, that's true. I mean, I also wasn't expecting a clean sheet against Elche, although like they're the the bottom of the league, as as Doris pointed out. But it happened, so and yeah, there is something there. So actually, if I'm not mistaken, as well, Thibaut is back. If I'm not mistaken, Courtois is back in the squad as well. But although like I think that doesn't change anything when it comes to our teams. Eventually, like irrespective of who the goalkeeper is, it's not about the goalkeeper itself. It's just something that's ingrained in our system.
Yeah,
Anyways, so
Farouk, but the good thing to mention that most of our clean sheets that we had this season were with Lunin and not
Noonan, right?
with
Yeah,
Thibaut.
yeah.
And I
That's
mean, to be fair, he did play against easier teams than Thibaut does, but still, most of our clean sheets came from Lunin.
that's also very true. I think Kucho has just two clean sheets in the whole of the year, or I'm not sure
Yeah,
in La
something like
Liga. I
that.
think
Yeah, two or three,
Yeah,
I
something
think
like that.
no, I think it's two. It's either one or two. Actually, it's not even three.
It's not even
I'm
three.
not exactly sure, but it's either one or two. Actually, that's something very
Yeah.
interesting. The way I mean, that's something nice to point out actually, because I think yeah, it was Elche and I can't recall the other team that Lunin played against, the other two teams, which also got clean sheets for him. So yeah, I mean that's props to him as also. But then anyways, it is what it is. Like I mean, I'm not here to feed on clean sheets. We're just here to get the 3 points and move ahead. It doesn't really matter if it's a 1,000 to 999 goals or whatever it is. So a victory is a victory eventually. So it is what it is. Anyways, then let's just dive into the opposition for this weekend. So it's Osasuna. We go to the El Sadar and we play against Osasuna. And actually, Osasuna is quite an interesting team. Like I'm actually checking their the last five games, and they have one victory in the last five games. And I think I don't know if you guys know, but Osasuna actually came out of the season flying. I think they had four wins in the first four games, or four wins in the first five games, something like this. I don't know exactly, but then they have just one win in the last five. So it's quite interesting for them. And also, I just actually see that the games against Osasuna is actually weird for Real Madrid for the past couple of years. It's either we win, convincingly, or like we struggle. Like it's, I mean, there's no in between there. Like it's a 0-0 or like a 1-1, or like there's the
Every
freak results
time.
that comes in there, a three, a 3-1 or two, a 2-0. So it's a kind of a weird, a weird, kind of a weird fixture for Real Madrid actually.
Yeah.
But before we talk about the Real side of things, I just want to go to again our La Liga expert, Vishal. Like, just take us through Osasuna. What should we be expecting from them?
Yeah, Osasuna is one of those teams that has really upped their game this season. Like, just they're executing all their plans really well. Arasati has been there for a while, but this season's really where they've stepped up. They are in, like, they're in the semis of the Copa del Rey.
Yep.
They beat Real Betis away while being down twice in the game. So it's a cup quarter final, and they were down 1-0, and then in extra time they equalized. I mean, towards extra time of 90 minutes they equalized, and then in extra time Betis went up 2-1 again, and they equalized again, and then they delivered like a very ice cold penalty shootout. So this team has got a lot of grit. They don't care what the score is. They're just going to keep coming. They're known for having a very intense sort of high pressing style, good positional patterns in like a very good fluid 4-4-2 system. So, and historically, it's not a great stadium to visit for any team
Yeah.
in La Liga. It's like our like rainy day in Stoke. This would probably be that for our league. So yeah, it's not looking good, but I'm actually still quite confident about this game. We've just been combining and playing a little bit better since the Club World Cup, I would say. So I have reason to be confident, but I mean, yeah, like it's not a team I'd want to face. But having said that, they've not come out well post World Cup, like a few other teams as well. So yeah, that's reflecting in their form as well. Quite a few draws, if I remember correctly. So that's also not a good result for us. We should be getting a win. So yeah, like looking forward to it. I think it'll be a really good game.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point there. Like like it's really like going to El Sadar is a really tricky fixture for anyone in La Liga, not just for Real Madrid or like the other fan. You also already pointed out the fact that even though they've been I think they're ninth in the league right now, but their form post the World Cup hasn't been the greatest actually. So I'll come to you, Doris. Like, what are you looking forward to see in the game at the weekend?
Well, just as Vishal said, like a draw is not enough. We need to win, and that's pretty obvious with Barcelona being 8 points ahead of us. But yeah, I think everyone is expecting a good p- performance. Like we really need to, have a real nice step into this really tough month of fixtures. And tomorrow's game is a big, almost a stepping stone for us this month. We need to start it with the 3 points and the win, and with the confidence. We have a really tough game after that, and mostly I'm expecting tomorrow, uh, as Ancelotti usually does. He likes to play his best 11 for huge games. And Osasuna itself is not a huge game, but we have a huge game after that, and I would expect Ancelotti, to play the almost the best 11, if not the best 11, just to test it out and see how we're gonna play against Liverpool, and to be ready with our tactics. Not to say that Osasuna is gonna play like Liverpool does, or anywhere near it, but we need to play like we're playing against Liverpool. We just need to, and we need to get this right. And also, like, we really need the 3 points, really do. So yeah, I'm
Uh,
expecting tomorrow to be serious for our players.
Okay. And actually, just to counter Doris's point here about playing the best team and what is and what is not. Actually, I don't know if you guys scored the squad, but Karim Benzema is out, and Carlo Ancelotti actually said
I saw that.
he's not injured. He's just he's fatigued, so he just needs to get some rest.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna come back to you, Vishal. Like, what do you take on Doris's point about you have such a crucial fixture at Anfield on Tuesday? Just I think around 48 to 72 hours later from the field from the game at El Sadar, and it's a travel across, and then you travel to England as well. So would you also try out your I would say the Gala XI, or like your best XI that's available to you, or will you tinker here and there to save some fresh legs and keep some players well refreshed?
Yeah, I think I'm with Doris on this. And that's usually what we've done as well. Like we usually see before a CL game,
Yeah.
the weekend before, it's probably going to be the team that's going to start eventually in Wednesday. And Carlos says it as well. He has never cared. He'll say it 2 months before if he wants to. So I think we'll see what Carlo considers to be the best team. I don't think Cruz is going to be available. Maybe a little worrying against Liverpool. I would have really liked to have him, but it's good. I think our other midfielders will get much required time. In some ways, Osasuna is a good game because they also like to press high, especially at home, make things kind of annoying for the opposition. Very physical. They're going to keep coming at you. So similarities to how the best of Liverpool would play, I guess. And yeah, I would definitely put out the 11 that I'm looking to start, um, let's say midweek against Liverpool, because yeah, I feel like they would need to get the minutes in. Benzema in the same context, I mean, I think in the last part also I said I feel like Benzema needs to get match fitness, but if he's fatigued, he's fatigued. I mean, we can't push somebody that much, so it is what it is. Yeah.
But yeah, actually, speaking about that, is Toni Kroos totally out? I heard like he had a stomach bug or something like that. But considering the game is so close by, is there any news on that? Like, does any one of you guys know if he's totally out of the game or not
Yeah,
against Liverpool, by the way, not for the weekend?
I think he's out for Liverpool, if I'm not wrong. That is what I read. It was a little worrying, but
I heard he had a stomach bug, so he's out for this game.
mm,
But I wasn't totally sure about if he's also out for the game against Liverpool as well. But anyways, I mean, the Liverpool thing, it's something for another time eventually actually. But yeah, actually
yeah,
for me personally, I also like kind of feel like you might wanna just not considering the fact that you're already 8 point behind in La Liga, you don't want to make eight become 11 or 11 become 14 eventually. So you might want to just field out those players and try to at least keep the momentum going. Especially considering the fact that we've scored 4+ goals, as I said, in the last 3 matches. So we're starting to get into our groove. And as you guys also have just said tonight, like our wingers are getting back in form. Rodrigo, Vini, and where they are like playing to the levels that we know was expected of them at the beginning of the season. So it's quite nice actually to have that actually, honestly. But I'm just gonna throw this out there again, similarly to how we've discussed in the previous times as well. Do you guys think this is the time to tinker with I don't know players like Danny Ceballos coming into the starting XI, or I don't know, like, what do you guys think? Is it the time to show that, or play Lucas Vasquez as a fullback in place of Dani Carvajal, just because as we know Carvajal is a touch and go always. So I mean, just to, I don't know if you guys get what I'm trying, just to get to preserve those fragile players that you have in the team that might be very very yeah, that might be very crucial to what happens against Liverpool eventually. I don't know what your take will be on it. Maybe you can go on Doris.
Yeah, we've noticed mostly when Carvajal can play and he's on the list that he usually plays. Even
Yeah.
though if he's fit or he's not fit or he's feeling great or not, he usually plays. If he's on the list, he's playing, and I'm betting he's gonna play tomorrow. And our defense is always like the most difficult position to predict almost every time. It's so unpredictable, mostly because our players are always injured and someone is always out and something is always happening. And having three center backs or four is difficult to predict, who's gonna play. But yeah, I'm predicting that Carvajal will stay in the right back position. I don't think we're gonna say Vasquez, but he will probably come on later, and Carvajal usually likes to come off in the second half, or not likes, he usually does, And we haven't seen Vasquez in a while. It would be nice to,
Yeah.
get him back. We're gonna need every player that we have, and Vasquez is one of them. He hasn't played in a while, so yeah, our team for tomorrow is all over the place, mostly because of Benzema, but we'll get to our attack later. But yeah, for Carvajal, I'm pretty sure he's gonna play. And I was gonna ask about Mendy. Are there any updates on his health? I know he's not coming back soon, but When is it? You guys know? Is it like for like
Mm,
2 months
mm.
or? Because that's
No, and it's also been a little indefinite also.
mm, that sucks a lot. Like that is a huge blow for us. Like we have to tinker every single game, tinker with our defense and all that, and we don't need that because even with Mendy, we didn't have the stability that we should have as as Real Madrid, right? And yeah, it just getting like worse and worse and worse with every match we seem to play. Like our
Yeah,
team
yeah.
seems to be smaller and smaller and smaller every match day. And for attack, like tomorrow we'll finally see Eden play. So I'm at least excited for that to see Hazard back. I mean, to be fair, there are only 5 players on our squad list that are attackers. One of them is a Castilla player, so there is a huge chance that he will play. I don't know, like I'm excited to see some players that we haven't seen in a while, and I might even give Vallejo a shout that he might come on for a few minutes. It would be nice to have him, especially like he proved himself in the Champions League last season, and it would be nice, in general, to have him playing more games. Our defense is all over the place right now. I mean, we do have Militao, Alaba, and Rudiger, all of them playing, and we still
Yeah.
don't know what to do with ourselves. Like honestly, like we still have no idea what to do. We still don't know our best defense. Like we keep saying it's Militao and Alaba. We don't know that. Like we haven't seen them playing in a while, and we constantly getting different defense and different sets of four and all that. It's not just Militao and Alaba. We need a solid four, and that's not happening this month. Tomorrow is gonna be, we're gonna have Carvajal playing, at least we know that. But for everyone else, it's tough to say.
Yeah, honestly, I totally get your sentiments, Doris. But I actually do also feel like we also have to wait for that continuity like that we don't currently have at the with the center back pairing and what is not that lack of continuity. I feel like is something that hurts us a lot. And I'll also reiterate this as well. Like last year, I mean last season, at the beginning of last season, even when Alaba and Militao started their partnership, it was a bit rocky at first, and
Yeah.
then with time they learn how to play with each other, and eventually became good complements to each other as well. But also that didn't stop us from conceding goals as well. Let's not forget, the whole Man City, basketball match, the whole. I mean, okay, I can forgive Kylian Mbappe because I mean, the man is something else, But then also against Chelsea as well, we let them, score 3 goals as well.
Yeah.
So it's not, like it's not been all, plain sailing. It's just, been the here and there. But I just want to touch on what Doris was saying about seeing players that we haven't seen, seeing different players. So I just want to come back to how Vishal, about Osasuna's danger men, the players we should look out for. For example, I can see Abia has 7 goals in La Liga so far, and also we've always known about Kiki. I think Kiki actually that has, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he scored against us maybe in 3 of the last 4 matches. Kiki Garcia, and I
Mm-hmm.
know he's old right now, and I'm sure he's not he's no longer. I don't know if he still plays that much frequently for Osasuna as well, because I haven't seen him as well. And I actually saw players like Aymar Rose, they're also coming through the team, and players like that. So what should we expect? Like what kind of danger? Like who are the danger men that we should be looking forward to seeing? Like that we need to watch out for in the game tomorrow.
Yeah. So what they pose is also like a tactical threat. Like they set up in a 4-4-2. It's kind of associated with like very defensive football. But especially at home, I don't know if they'll take it to us, but usually at home they like to completely overwhelm the opponent. Like sort of like a physical way in how I think Eibar used to do, I think 3-4 years back. When Kike Garcia was in Eibar, in fact, funny
Yeah, yeah,
enough.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, like that those kind of vibes, that's it's the same Ipurua, same vibe. Nobody wants to go and play football there, 'cause it's quite intimidating. So that player specifically, yeah, Jimmy Avila is in form. He's always like on whatever 5-star dribbling mode, even his shots, whatever he does, completely flair driven player, and that just makes him a random threat, like on any given day, I feel. So he's one to watch out for. He's been getting into a shooting boost this season. I think people used to criticize him a bit for that. So I think that's good for him. Kike doesn't start a lot. I'm not sure why. Like I've never understood it. But yeah, maybe he is getting on more with the years than we can tell from here. But yeah, Velas, come on. Like you said, he does score against us quite a bit. So he'll be a threat as well. Aymar Oroz is actually one of the first breakout talents that I had like the pleasure of watching this year. First two games with Osasuna was very impressive. He keeps shuttling like between midfield and attack, linking up everything. So there were a lot of good positional patterns. A lot of players. I think Bodemir scored a goal recently as well. So they have like final third threats like target men and stuff like that. But more than anything, like we have to make it out of their press. Like otherwise, if they win the ball back and start they're very shot heavy. They'll take a lot of shots. So like we have to be careful to not let them do that too much. I mean, if we control the game at El Sadar, I think I'll be happy. Generally, if we can keep them away from the ball and stop losing the ball a lot, that will be us crossing the biggest danger that we can face tomorrow.
Interesting. I mean, that's something as well because actually, I totally forgot about Anti Budimir as well. And Budimir is like this huge giant who is just gonna come in and get crosses into the box. And I mean, it's well documented how good we are in aerial threats and all that. The way we defend aerial balls and we are legends of
Yeah.
defending aerial balls. So it's a good shout. Mention Anti Budimir as well there. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see how it goes. Yeah, I was just, actually was thinking about something earlier today, just in my mind, Doris. Maybe you can also just shed a light, about that. So, like, for a team like Real Madrid, who are like so Champions League oriented, you have a game coming up in Anfield just in 72 hours after this game. Like, how do you think the players will actually be able to, I don't know, get into the mentality of going to play Osasuna, considering the fact that they're 8 points behind Barcelona? And I'm just only saying this because, as I said earlier, like Real Madrid, when the Champions League anthem plays, like it's their tournament, it's their trophy. Like they were born for this moment. You understand? So, do you think like the players will be able to, focus on this game, like, or like just feel like, okay, this is a side quest we just need to do before we actually go to the main match that we're looking forward to on Tuesday? Like, how do you think the players like behave in this scenario?
I mean, I did say earlier, like, I am expecting, like, seriousness from this team. And I mean, I think we all are, and I'm pretty sure, Angelotti would expect that from the team as well. I mean, like I said, like, the game itself is not as important. Like, we are expecting a win, but mostly I'm expecting players to take it seriously just because of everything that is happening. And tomorrow will be a tough game, not just because of the pressing and them being shot heavy, as Vishal said. It's mostly because of our own attack. Like, we trust Vinicius, Asensio, and Rodrigo, but tomorrow we have no Karim and no Mariano. I mean, it's not that I'm saying that Mariano is like, but I'm saying that we're not gonna play with the traditional striker, and which will mean that we won't play as we should, or like we're gonna play against Liverpool, right? And that is not a good thing. We are expecting seriousness from our team, and them being focused, and sort of like copying that for Liverpool. But that's gonna be tough because we won't have the same play style that we would against them, or at least have our formation as we usually do, like with Karim and the striker, I guess. But yeah, that's the biggest thing I will take from all of this for tomorrow. Like, our team is gonna be all over the place, and as you said, like, uh, Kroos is not there. So yeah, I'm mostly predicting us, like I said earlier, to play our best 11 that we can play. So I'm even if some of our best players are not starting with, I'm sure we will use our best players at some point. Like we really need to have something solid tomorrow that we can use against Liverpool. That's the biggest thing, and we need our best players for that, and them, to be into it and fit for the next game. That's mostly.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, that's a good shout, honestly, because as you rightly said, like I think Doris is just getting to the point. But firstly, let's just clear out the fact that Doris mentioned Benzema and Mariano Diaz in the same sentence. So I mean, that's something Mariano Diaz will take that anytime, any day. Yeah. So I think yeah, that's the thing. Like building a background for the Liverpool game is quite important, and like a loss would be morale shattering in this game, honestly. Well, I just want to come back to Vishal. Actually, there was a comment of Carlo I saw earlier where he was saying like our system is a 4-3-3, but it can quickly become a 4-4-2 as well. He was saying so like how like given considering the recent games we've seen, like how much of that would you say? And let's also not forget the fact that like with Rodrigo drifting onto the central positions a lot of times in the recent games, like how much fluid do you think we can look forward to seeing tomorrow, considering what Doris has mentioned without the lack of a proper center forward?
Yeah, I think in the LJ game we saw what Rodrigo. He was on the left, yes, but
Yeah.
he was also steaming down through the middle. Like he was
Yep.
linking up play. In fact, a lot of his carries were like middle driven and not really touchline play, like you would see from Vinicius, for example, right? So, in that regard, I mean, I just feel like right now, especially that last game, Rodrigo was playing on like some other level that, sorry, that we haven't seen from him in a while. Like we have, but I just thought yesterday was, I mean, 2 days back was just something else against LJ. So if he can produce that level of combination and cohesiveness and fluidity, because I mean, what the comment says like 4-3-3, 4-4-2, like we can go into the details, but we know that Ancelotti's attack works best when it's like fluid,
Yep.
everybody moving left, right, Asensio coming in, so Valverde goes wide. If everything's mobile and good in the final third, I actually think Rodrigo has the quality, especially on this kind of form, to replicate what Benzema does on some level in terms of quality of link ups and all of that. And I actually think we might just be okay, like versus Osasuna. Liverpool, yeah, I mean the dynamics will change with Benzema on there, but I think this version of Rodrigo that we're seeing right now is just really good in central spaces and just playing at a very high level of game IQ, like just
Yep.
always
Yeah.
finding the right ways forward, just making just 10 out of 10 decisions every single time, and that's what the best of Benzema is as well for me. So yeah, I think Rodrigo can replicate what's going on. 4-4-2, yeah, I mean Rodrigo when we play Rodrigo, he always comes from the right over to the center. So like that final third area, I just never give a number to it. It just ends up being this shape or that shape based on how the players are combining with each other. But yeah, I do think Rodrigo can provide like a similar level of energy, which will give us that kind of fluidity that makes us like a very good team in the attack.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm looking forward to that because I just feel like like this is turning out, or this might eventually depend on how the season eventually continues. Well, I feel like this might be Rodrigo's breakout season in the sense of the similarly to what Vinicius had last year. Because like as we've seen right now, the Rodrigo is actually coming to the fore more, taking on central roles and taking on more responsibilities, starting attacks out of nothing and something what is and what is not. So yeah, I mean, let's look forward to that. But before we go on, I just want to deviate a little bit. So as you guys know, we have Brahim Diaz at AC Milan, and we have Taiki Kubo as well. And considering the fact that if I'm not mistaken, for Kubo's case, like the non-EU teams have been sorted out because like both Militao and Vinicius right now have their EU passport, which means we still have sports for EU players in the team.
Correct.
So if I were to put to you guys Brahim Diaz and Kubo, what would your choice be? Doris, you wanna start?
Excuse me, I was writing the poll on the. You were saying.
I was saying like we have both Brahim Diaz and Kubo out on loan,
Yeah.
and for Kubo's case right now we have the EU spot all sorted out. So would you who would you select between the two? Like, would to bring back? Would you choose to bring
Uh,
back
well,
Diaz or
there
Kubo?
are already news that Brahim Diaz is coming back. That like it's already done. I think like a few days ago, those news came back, and I saw a lot of people were not happy about it. They are saying that um, for a second everyone thought he's gonna be the next big thing in Milan, but to be realistic, he hasn't been that amazing. Not to say that he's a bad player, but for a second we did get excited, and I think that's just desperation mostly, and to be quite honest with you, I don't think either of those players are the Madrid quality. I could be wrong about Brahim. You don't know that, and he is still playing for a good team, as is Kubo also. But with Kubo we already saw enough, at least that's what I think, and we saw enough of him in Mallorca, right? Uh, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I was Espanol or Mallorca, I wasn't sure.
He was in
Um,
Hetafe also, so yeah, that might.
yeah, like we saw like quite enough of him in La Liga in Spain, and he is right now in La Real. So
Yeah.
like for Kubo, at least we're sure that we can skip him, I guess. But for Brahim, there's still a lot of people wishing for him to come back, mostly because we just need him, and not that we want him, and yeah, I think we should wait for the players that we really really want, and right now our board isn't even doing that, and we did already get the news that Brahim is coming back, so I don't think there is
Yeah.
much more to say about that. He is coming back, so yeah.
Okay, that's a very well. So I'm just gonna change the question because Doris gave a quite an insightful information about the Doris Kubo thing. So sorry, the Diaz Kubo thing.
That is cool.
The Diaz Kubo thing. So Vishal, let's just play some fantasy football here, okay? So assuming now you're the whatever it is, the I don't know, chief of football, the director of football, whatever it is that Real Madrid does have, and you're gonna choose someone from La Liga, which player would you choose? Like, which player entices you the most in La Liga right now? I mean, not someone who is above 30, like the young players, 25, 24, or something like that. What player would you think would fit Real Madrid like a sock right now? You can name one, two players, doesn't really matter.
Right. I'll name a couple of players. Just one. I think our midfield is kind of
Yeah.
sorted. I don't want to jinx it. If Jude also comes, we more than start. So for attack on our right wing, I think Chukwueze is something you can watch out for, but also Kubo, because he's been really good with Laria. I think
Yeah.
Mallorca had after terrible loan management, which we've been horrendous at. I think Odegaard was the last time we actually cared about somebody's loan spells. Since then, we've just been sending them to random clubs. Now that we've finally gotten given away the rights to Kubo, he's finally playing at a good club, and we're able to see, oh, okay, like now that we've sold him, we know he's good. Which sort of, I'm like, this makes no sense. If we just sent him to a good club in the first place, maybe we could have known if he was a better bet or not. So I would purely because we have right wing, let's say, needs, I would put either of those more than Brahim, for example. I'm with Doris on that. Like, he's not been impressive with Milan. Last season, no Milan fan wanted him to play too much football for that because he just wasn't at the level. So this season he's recovered a bit, I would say, but I'm not excited about Brahim. I would say that's how I'd put it. And defense, I take Pau Torres. We need a left-footed centre back. Before Barcelona takes him, I wanted Koundé before that. So yeah, before Barcelona takes away all of my favorite defenders in La Liga, I hope we can get to Pau Torres, because Alba. I mean, yeah, Alba, Rudiger. We don't have like a good apart from Militao. Guardiola, Pau Torres, similar kinds of players. So if you had to pick, if I wanted someone like that from Spain, I would take Pau Torres.
Pau Torres, yeah. Well, that's a very very good shot indeed. Honestly, like Pau Torres is a player who I feel like he's just waiting to go. And I feel the way the thing goes right now, he's just gonna go and join the English money, or should I call them the oil money, because that's what the
Yeah.
Premier League is looking like to become these days. So yeah, I mean honestly, like I feel like Pau is just waiting to go to one of these, English clubs sooner or later. But I really do get it as a good shot, because the point is, when you consider the fact that Alaba is more than 30, Rudiger is more than 30, and Pau Torres might just come in there, and I don't know what happens with Nacho, but if Nacho does eventually decide to leave, Pau Torres might be a good shot. And I also believe that the cost wouldn't be that outrageous compared to what Gaviot will cost. Even maybe if Gaviot has a higher ceiling, when you compare the players. But it is what it is. But I just want to add something to that. I don't know if you guys are fans of him as well, but I'm a huge fan of Martin Zubimendi from La Real. I really do. I wonder why literally no one is talking about this player, honestly. I feel like, we've always been calling for a backup DM. And I feel like this is someone who would have played, that role very, very well, like to sub in for Tchouaméni when needed, and even to start when Tchouaméni needs a rest, and even they can both, start games together, sometimes. But I don't know. I just feel like people are not highly sold on him. He's not as highly rated as. Okay, I can understand maybe because of the presence of Oyarzabal takes away all the the plaudits and David Silva and what is not, like they're all bigger names there. But I feel like Zubimendi is a player that people actually sleep on a lot. I don't know what you
Mm.
guys think of him.
Yeah, yeah, unbelievable player. I mean, everybody's calling him the next Busquets for a reason. He's pretty much like same copy paste, same player. Probably better in the air also. He has everything. I heard Arsenal's probably
Yeah.
gonna get it soon, so that speaks to their quality. Barca has also been flirting with him for a while. So like he sounds like a player who would fit perfectly for very, let's say, Spanish quote unquote type teams
Good.
like
Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
Sociedad and like Barcelona, and to a very big extent like Arsenal as well. So yeah, I actually think he's too good to be a backup DM anymore. Maybe last year, but this year he's just been lights out every single game. So pretty sure he'd want like a full time spot. But another thing about Real Sociedad players is a lot of them like staying in Sociedad. Like
Yeah.
Lenormand, the defender. He said, I want to be a one club man. I mean, that kind of culture is not there. So I don't know. I hope he stays there. I hope he doesn't go to Barcelona for sure. That would be horrendous for us. I feel. Just they just get another Busquets for nothing. So yeah, like he's a very good player. Like I would definitely love to have.
If anything, I would love for those kind of players, and I know it's kind of controversial maybe, and even for Pau Torres to stay at their own clubs. And I know it seems kind of selfish from us to always look for the best players from the nearly the top clubs. I want them to succeed. I want them to be our competitors. And if it takes Pau Torres and Mendy to reach that, like I would rather have a good league than the best damn players in our team. I want the best players in my team, but mostly for that to be unproven talent. Those players already proved that they're talented and really really talented, and more than anything I would actually like for them to stay at their own clubs and definitely not join Barcelona. Thank you. Thank you for coming to
But
my
I
TED
get
talk.
it's Doris is a scenario of big fish eats small fish. That's the thing. Like if that's how it works, so the big fish always eat the small fish, and
Yeah,
even
and
the players also,
it's
yeah.
actually kind of selfish from us to even think about those players, to be quite honest with you. And I totally understand why other clubs and fans would be angry with clubs like us that suck all those talents to us. Not only us, we don't sign that many players, but the biggest clubs in the world seem to be farming all those clubs, and Villarreal and Sociedad shouldn't be farmer clubs. Definitely
Correct. Yeah.
not. If anything, they should sign players like Pau Torres and Zubimendi, and not we
Yeah,
shouldn't take from them.
that's a very good shout, honestly, Doris. But then also, I think maybe on the other hand, you also have to consider, like, clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona and Manchester United. Like these are traditional heavyweights, in the history of football. So they always have this, how can I say, this draw, this allure that you want to go and be like, oh yeah, I played for those clubs, in my career as well. So it's not just about the clubs, as you said, farming the players. It's also about the players also, like, wanting to reach that thing that is, like, I mean, untouchable, like, because these players, when they're like growing up in the academy, like this is what the goal is to be, like to be present, in that all white kit or in the all red kit, at the Santiago, either or Camp Nou or the Old Trafford, places like this at Allianz Arena with Bayern. So I think it's also that point, but I totally get what you're saying, and I feel there is a way forward with this, honestly. But football is just so too greedy, and these big clubs always want everything for themselves only. So yeah, I don't know when that happens, but yeah, you have a very very valid point, Doris. Anyways, yeah. So let's end our fantasy football thing and get back to our Osasuna game. So yeah, let's start with the lineups, and then we can just move to the predictions, and we can call it a day. And yeah, Vishal, can you just start with the back five? What do you think it's gonna look like?
Right. I'm not sure who's gonna start Koto or Lunin. Like, it could be either of them, I guess. Like, if as you said, Koto is back again. So yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't mind starting Koto if he's available. Just again, ready for the final and things like that. I mean, that's just my approach to this game, to be honest. Like, just have this be a blueprint for the Liverpool game as much as possible. So left back, I guess Alaba is going to play. We played him already. It probably means we're going to play him again. Especially since Cruz is not available, I think Camavinga will have to play in the midfield. So I don't think we'll see Camavinga at left back. At least this is a time where I would say I don't want to see Camavinga at left back. As much as I don't like Alaba at left back, that might be the case. But I would like to see a Militao Alaba CB pairing ideally, I guess. But I don't think we'll see that. Um, one of Rudiger or Nacho along with Militao. I'll just go with Rudiger because we might need him in the Liverpool game at some point. So Militao and Rudiger can play. And then on the right, like I agree with Doris. I think Carvajal is going to play because Carvajal usually does play. And he needs to pick up. Like I thought Elche was a decent game from him. Like I saw improvements on the ball. He was just like I think his biggest problem in his dip was just his on the ball ability just went, I don't know where he was missing passes, bad touches and all that. Little bit of improvement in that in Elche. So I hope Osasuna becomes a game where he can build on that as well. So I'll go with Carvajal, Militao, then Rudiger, Alaba at left back, and I think Courtois should.
So if I get it correctly, then you're looking forward to playing Alaba against Mo Salah in the Liverpool game. Then is that what you're looking towards?
No, I'm not. I just don't know. I just feel like this is what he's gonna do. Camavinga, especially Cruz not being available, I just
Yeah.
don't know what that does for Camavinga. Like it's just now we have that option. Now we've made ourselves available to that option of him at left back. It's just I'm not sure how it's gonna do. But no, Mo Salah was that. I mean, Alaba does scare the life out of me.
Actually, that's a valid point, honestly. But actually, I was gonna go, with what's it called? With Kamavinga at left back, and just throwing Dani Ceballos into the middle of the park, so it's a Luka Modric, Dani Ceballos and Tchouaméni in the middle of the park. So that was what I was going towards. But you also made a very valid point because I think maybe Carlo might just decide to go with the experience of David Alaba there. Like he might be like, okay, like this is a seasoned experience there. He's won literally everything. He's 10 seasons winning the league consecutively, so he knows his shit. So because of that, he might
That's
just
how
choose
Carlo
to.
tends to. That's how Carlo tends to think as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you
So
really think that Ancelotti is not gonna start Fede tomorrow?
no, I think Fede is
Like
gonna
that
play as
happens
a
very
winger.
rarely.
I think Fede is gonna play as a winger. No.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I feel too.
our attack isn't stacked tomorrow. We only have Vinicius, Rodrigo, and Asensio and Hazard, and we will probably see Asensio, Rodrigo in the middle, and Vinicius on the left. That is my prediction for tomorrow, and Hazard will probably come on later or something like that. So I think Valverde will play, and especially because he will 1,000% play against Liverpool, 1,000%. So he will definitely play tomorrow, and I would even wager a guess that he's a bet that he's starting tomorrow in the midfield. Probably not in the attack though. But that's
So
just a
what's
guess.
your midfield looking like?
I think it's gonna be Modric, Tchouaméni, and probably Valverde. Probably.
Fine.
I mean that is
So
like those
Kamavinga
are
at left
actually
back
our
as well.
yeah. I mean I don't think there's a big chance for Kama to start anyway, or even when we have our players, which is sad, But lately he hasn't played in the midfield. He hasn't played his position, and I'm not sure now is the greatest time, to start him there. But then again, I could counter that it is the best time because we're gonna need him, But then again, all this happening with Mendy is kind of screwing up like other positions and places that our players should play, But yeah, it should be Luka, Chouameni, and Valverde. And Ceballos will
Awesome.
probably come on to fill that cross role and all that,
Yeah, I mean that's something very logical actually. But actually, while Doris was talking about this, I just came to mind that actually we also neglected the fact that Nacho can also play as a left back, and we've seen that Nacho always gives you that, he's not too adventurous and he doesn't, try outrageous things. Because of that, he's always a solid 6 and 7. Maybe you might want to go with that, relative reliability of Nacho and just be like, okay, that's more than enough, against as a prep for what's going to happen, to just get the back line to know what's going to go on. So you have the partnership of Militao and Alaba back, and Carvalho does his thing, and Nacho just slots in there, and you try to create a kind of understanding before the game on Tuesday. But then, yeah, we're just speculating here. It's just a 50-50. A lot of things can be chopped and changed actually. So
And
yeah,
these are like important things because yesterday we saw Alonso start at centre back and just get absolutely smoked by Rashford for that first goal. So Alaba at left back, Alaba at centre back, all of these are important decisions. Alaba at left back doesn't have the recovery pace to go back anymore. He's too aggressive for
Yeah.
how fast he can get back. So against Salah, I do feel like that's asking for trouble. So yeah,
It's kind of
maybe I
funny
might
how
want him.
how just how fast he is going forward, but not when he's running back. It's actually kind of funny if you look
Yeah.
at it. He seems to always just sprint and ask for the ball when he's attacking, but when he's in the defense, he kind of gets lost every time. But again, like we Carvajal isn't in the best form. Like we all know that, but we're talking about him like he's absolutely trash, But if he is, and if we're expecting a subpar performance from him tomorrow, just because I guess we're used to it right now, I think Nacho wouldn't even be a bad shout just to have that, so solidity in the back, and Carvajal for the mistakes that he does, he's still really good in the offense, and maybe he could, give what Nacho can't. And having Alaba and Camavinga on the same side, isn't the greatest idea, because Alaba sometimes can even cover for himself. He covers well for Militao, but when he has like both sides to cover, and Camavinga is so unpredictable, it's a difficult task, and solidity would be nice, and maybe for not for tomorrow, like we are expecting a win, but for Liverpool, like we have no idea what we're gonna play, and I think Nacho isn't a bad idea for Liverpool, and I think he should start ahead of Kamavinga there, especially to keep them fucking Salah, man. Like that. No, that is a really tough job, and if anything, I think Nacho should get ready for that matchup, because I don't think it's very realistic to ask Kamavinga to play that against Salah.
yeah. I mean that's a very valid point, and especially we know the tendency of Camavinga to get into rush tackles and get yellow cards early on,
Yeah,
and I feel like that might be something that Liverpool and Klopp might target if Camavinga plays in that role. So they might just gang up on him in that position and just keep pushing most of that towards him and try to get him sent off ASAP or something like that. But yeah, I
definitely.
mean, that it was a good shot about Carval actually, Doris, because honestly, like I feel like although Carval has his deficiencies, but I think for the past two games, like Carval has been good. I mean, okay, he hasn't been amazing, but he has been good both defensively and offensively as well, So, and that's the thing, as we've seen, in some games last year, like he literally, especially in the final, he showed that he can still compete, with the very best people in the world. And at least for now, he doesn't have to face Luis Diaz, but he has to face, Darwin fucking Nunez again, man. So I don't know how that's gonna happen, but because
I
the
think
thing
that's a
is, as I've
bigger
said
threat
before,
than
like
yeah. Like
I mean, the
he's
point is Nunez is so crazy fast. How can
yeah,
person of his stature be that fast? I don't know. You know,
yeah,
he's so fast and so physical. So it's gonna be,
exactly.
it's gonna be quite interesting for to see how Carvalho deals with him, honestly. But I mean, that's the thing. Carvalho has been there, done it. So we're relying on that experience at least, to see that off because I mean, obviously, even if he's not in the best, I would rather have him than Nacho or Lucas Vasquez play there against that against those guys. But I said, yeah, it is what it is. We just have to see how it goes. It's just all speculation now. It's just a game of chess. So yeah, let's see how it goes tomorrow, and then from there we can see how the Liverpool team pans out. I guess if you guys don't have anything further, we can just move to the predictions, and then we can call it a day.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then. I mean, I can start for my predictions on my side. I actually see a tight victory tomorrow. I don't see us, going too much. I think we're gonna go like a 3-1, 2-1 kind of victory, like not more than two goal margin, something like this. I don't know what you guys think. Doris?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. It's difficult to predict because, like I always say, we very rarely in the last few seasons score, very high scoring games, or at least consistently do those. So yeah, it's like you said, it probably won't be by too many goals. I'm mostly trying to think if we're even gonna get a clean sheet. That's mostly it, because I don't think our problem is scoring. We usually tend to do that. We don't, get out of a game with zero goals. So as long as we can, keep our defense, we should be good, And I'm not expecting a 4-0 or something like that.
Yeah,
Other
Vishal,
than
can you go on,
that,
please?
Yeah, I'll go with 2-1 as well. 2-1 or 1-1, unfortunately. I don't know if we'll keep a clean sheet like Doris said. We might, but yeah, I think we'll score. It's just gonna be a little more. I feel like since it's at their home and stuff, the way they play, it's gonna be a bit more open than the usual games that we watch, especially the first few minutes. So if we can score early, it'll be fine. But yeah, again, it for me, I feel like at this point this season, it just comes down to how soon can we score that first goal. That almost entirely determines our fate, I feel. Because after that, we just start playing good football. So if we get an early goal, then I'll say 2-1, even 3-1 at being adventurous. But if we don't, it's going to be one of those 1-0, 1-1 games where we don't know who's going to score, but somebody does.
I see. I see. So actually, you brought up a good point. I actually read a stat earlier today that Osasuna actually have gotten just 1 point back from the games where they concede first. They've only just so it means that they are very, very shitty at comeback. So I think you're right, like in the sense that if we can get the first goal, we might just push them back into the shell and what is not. But then I mean, a lot of this team seems to bring their guns and their knives when they're coming to play Real Madrid. So we never can tell like everything just bucks the trend. But I guess with that, I think we've come to the end for today. But before we go, Doris, was there anyone in the chat like or
yeah, I
something?
just saw Elamas is back in the chat. Thank you, Elamas. He said football keeps becoming a more and more money hungry game, and at the end of the day, it is, and will probably continue to be a dog eats dog world. Unfortunately, I agree with you. Like, I'm not saying that the things will change. I'm just saying, how hopeful I would be that the best players in almost the top tier clubs would stay there just to, bring more attention to their club and, potentially even win them. Who knows. But yeah,
Yeah, true.
it is a dog eat dog world, and it is unfortunate, and there is probably nothing we can do to change that. But yeah, we need the best players, and we need Spanish players, and yeah, it sucks that they don't play for us already, because it just feels wrong doing that to other Spanish clubs, taking their Spanish players. Yeah, he also said that cough wasn't necessary. I think he's saying about the Hazard. Also, Luis Diaz will probably end up being the biggest threat. What do you guys say about that? Is Luis our biggest threat for Liverpool?
No, I just say it. I don't think so. I just think against us, players who can attack space are more dangerous than players who are good with the ball at their feet, just generally because we concede so much space. So I'd be worried about Nunez, especially if you're like keeping the ball and stuff. Salah generally is a threat. I'm not, but I don't know. Like it just feels like one of those games where we might actually have a lot of control of the midfield because their midfield is looking quite thin. So in that case, we will also be leaving some space behind, which is why I would be worried about Nunez like a little bit. Salah as well to some extent.
Also,
Go
in
on.
the Champions League, with Carvajal did play well against Luis
He was
Yes,
Diaz.
flawless.
you know.
Diaz. Like 10 out of 10. I don't think he gave anything away.
Yeah, and
So yeah.
he gave him a tough challenge when he came on, and he made him see what kind of game he's playing, and I just hope that Danny does that again. If our players just
Actually,
assert themselves, right, and don't play like pussies as it happens. It's no it sometimes just happens. Something just clicks in your mind or doesn't click, and just you play just to survive. And at least this season we should be the better team against Liverpool, I guess. And if we're scared already of them, like it's gonna be a long day on Tuesday.
indeed. Well, actually, I'm just gonna point out that I think Luis Diaz just came back to train this week, so I don't think he's gonna feature against us. Actually,
There you
for the
go.
first
Yeah.
leg, I think he was confirmed to be out, but the second leg he should be
Also,
fit
no
for the second
Mane.
leg.
No Sadio Mane. Like, how great is that? No Sadio Mane. And no Diaz, as you say. Hopefully, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean Thiago Alcantara is out as well, but Virgil van Dijk is back.
Thiago's out. That's huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Van Dijk is back. Van Dijk is gonna play against Newcastle tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
But yeah, Thiago is out. Luis Diaz is out as well. But Jota and Firmino are back as well, so that's something as well. So let's see. Let's see. It's looking to be a matchup. But as you know, Vishal said, the midfield of Liverpool is so thin. I hopefully expect us to dominate the park. But these are just games of that are more than what people present on paper. Like form literally goes out the window because like these are really high profile games. But yeah, let's just keep our fingers crossed and see how things pan out.
Yeah. In the chat, people voted, 33% of the viewers voted that we will win by 2 goals or more, which, alright. 50% voted that we will win by 1 goal, and 17% voted that we will lose tomorrow against
Oh,
Osasuna.
wow.
Barca fans,
Okay.
probably. Or Raul, probably for Atletico.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's true.
Probably
That's true. That's
one
true.
of those guys.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Anyways, I guess with that we've come to the end of the show for today.
Yeah.
I think we could just extend our thank yous to the panel, Vishal and Doris. Thank you for being here. And with that, we sign out by saying Hala Madrid.
Ala Madrid.
Well, not bad.